want to be more creative? As a creativity researcher, I'd like to let you in on a little secret. Creativity is not the same as productivity. The final product matters far less than the process to most of the artists that I've interviewed. A few of them have gone so far as to destroy every single work of art that they ever created. To these artists, true art lies in the experience of creating, not the outcome. The great art teacher Robert Henri would tell his students, the object isn't to make art, it's to be in that wonderful state which makes art inevitable. At a time when artificial intelligence is creating music, pictures, and stories that are really good, we have to ask ourselves, what is uniquely human about human creativity? For me, there's only one answer: inspiration. To be creative is to inspire people, starting with yourself. This means inducing that wonderful state which makes art inevitable. When you inspire people, you wake them up from the drabness and the drudgery of the mundane, and you make them go, wow. For 3 decades, I've devoted my life as a research psychologist to the pursuit of this elusive, enigmatic, and exhilarating experience called creative inspiration. What I've discovered is that inspiration isn't just about your mind. It involves your entire body. Artists have always known this. Peter Tchaikovsky said that when he was creating his most inspired musical compositions, his body would pulsate and quiver. 32 years ago, I set out on a quest to understand inspiration, but then something wonderful and unexpected happened to me. I started to experience inspiration in my body on a regular basis. Learning to live in that experience has been one of the greatest gifts in my life. I'm here to share that gift with you so that you can inspire yourself and capture some of that feeling and sensation in ways that can help inspire others. Creative inspiration is an art that you can master. Today I'm going to introduce you to a pair of tools that will let you tap into the power of creative inspiration so that others may share in the bliss, ecstasy, and delight that you feel in your body when you're inspired. It hardly matters what you choose to create, from a backyard garden to your next homework assignment. The art of inspiration lies in the experience, and it all starts with a moment in time. In a single flash of inspiration, your life and your world can change forever. Harriet Beecher Stowe fell into a trance while receiving communion, and at that moment, she envisioned the key scene in Uncle Tom's Cabin. Inventor Nikola Tesla was strolling with a friend after dinner when the structure of the AC generator, one of the most important innovations in human history, came to him suddenly and clearly. At the height of Beatlemania, Paul McCartney awoke from sleep one morning with the melody of Yesterday in his head. Inspiration goes by many names: illumination, revelation, epiphany. But the experience is generally the same. An unmistakable spark of vitality shoots through your body, and suddenly you feel fully alive, awake, alert, and aware. Inspiration feels fresh, as if you've just come alive for the first time, and transcendent, taking you beyond all limitations. There's also a profound sense of clarity. It's as if a veil has been lifted just long enough to give you a glimpse of something more. To master the art of inspiration, you just need the right tools that are going to bring you into each of the 2 stages of creative inspiration. These 2 stages are emptying and filling. First, you empty your mind of all thoughts to attain mental silence. And then you fill that silence with a total body experience that is sensuous and alive. In essence, your body leads your mind to the kinds of breakthroughs that can result in the profound realizations that can result in major creative breakthroughs. So first we start with emptying. For some of you, the idea of emptying your mind of all thoughts may seem daunting. You may doubt the very existence of mental silence, as do many mainstream psychologists. Of course they do. These are intellectuals who've devoted themselves to the study and the life of the mind. For them, the absence of all thought corresponds to death. As long as you're alive, mental silence is impossible, or so they claim. Meanwhile, some 500 million people around the world practice meditation on a daily basis. Over 90% of meditators acknowledge the existence of mental silence free of all thought. That's because they've experienced it for themselves firsthand. And they're not alone. For millennia, creative individuals have found remarkable ways to empty their minds so that they could experience inspiration in their bodies. Psychologist Carl Jung would go to his house on Lake Geneva, and he would stare out at the lake for 3 consecutive days before starting work on a new writing project. Albert Einstein used power naps and long walks to silence his prodigious intellect. The intellect has little to do on the road to discovery, he said. Mental silence is essential to creative inspiration because your mind, your intellect, has a tendency to get in the way. You've probably heard it said that creativity is, quote unquote, thinking outside the box. The problem with that statement is that your thinking is what creates the box in the first place. It imposes limitations on what you can experience or create. When you free yourself of those limitations, you find that you can experience or create virtually anything. In moments of mental silence, you're not thinking outside the box, you're living outside the box. So how do you do that? What is the most effective way to attain mental silence? Typically, concentrative meditation techniques have been used for that purpose. These techniques have you focus your attention on one thing, which could be a sound, an image, a physical pose, or a gesture. The natural tendency of the mind is to wander from thought to thought, much as the eye jumps from one image to the next. If you hold an image perfectly still relative to the eye, do you know what happens? It disappears from view. In much the same way, if you hold a single thought in mind long enough, it also disappears, leaving only mental silence in its wake. Although concentrative techniques do work to silence the mind, I have found a technique simpler to use, at least as powerful, and definitely more fun. It's called play. Every meditator would love to have the single-pointed focus that children demonstrate when they're playing. You can play your way to mental silence by choosing the right form of play, one that is easy and non-competitive, requiring minimal strategy or effort. Such play engages your body while disengaging your mind. Here are just a few play activities I recommend. Walking in nature, scribbling with crayons, listening to instrumental music, playing with a yo-yo, soaking in a warm bath, howling at the moon, savoring a scent or a taste, dancing, and other forms of movement. To empty your mind of thought, immerse yourself in play. That's it. Just play. Once you've done that, you take that precious mental silence that you've created and you fill it with pure bodily sensation. This can be exhilarating. You feel the total sense of aliveness that comes from being freed of all the limitations imposed by your mind. In the critical second stage of inspiration, the filling stage, you can experience or create whatever you want because you have two powerful forces at your disposal: intuition and imagination. Both are experiential ways of knowing that involve bodily feeling and sensation, not thinking, And both are accessible to you during moments of inspiration to the extent that you can remain open and receptive to them. With intuition, you know something is true because you can feel it in your body. Some research psychologists have tried to argue that intuition is nothing more than unconscious thinking. But my intuition and pregnancy study offered strong evidence to the contrary. My research team at the University of Arizona surveyed expectant mothers who were receiving prenatal care at a local birth and women's health center. The mothers in our study who had an intuition about the sex of their unborn child were right 70% of the time. 70%! That's not random, and there is no known thought process that would allow a pregnant woman, to deduce the sex of her unborn baby. Rather, these types of intuitions come in the form of gut feelings and other bodily sensations. The women in our study told us that to be intuitive, you have to trust your body, remaining open to its wisdom without doubting, judging, or dismissing. As for imagination, this way of knowing extends the reach of your five senses to infinity and beyond. Through the power of your imagination, you can know what it's like to shrink down to the size of an atom or to visit distant galaxies. Here's where the genius of an Einstein really shines. Einstein didn't come up with his theory of relativity by doing calculations. He took an imaginary ride on a beam of light. Imagination is more important than knowledge, he said. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. When you open yourself to the power of your imagination, you can experience or create virtually anything. That's because there is nowhere in the universe where your imagination cannot take you. Absolutely nowhere. With both intuition and imagination, you just have to open yourself to ways of knowing that involve bodily feeling and sensation, not thinking. How do you open yourself in this way? A set of controlled experiments conducted in my lab established the effectiveness of a tool called Repose. This is as simple and as powerful a technique for enhancing receptivity as anything I've ever come across. Okay, here's how Repose works. Pay attention. You lie on your back with your arms and legs extended like that. That's all. That's all there is to it. As you can see, Repose puts you in an open, receptive physical state, which is key to creative inspiration. You're more likely to come up with a creative idea or solution after 7 minutes of repose than you would after doing a distractor task like reading a book or closing your eyes. Repose isn't just a break from your creative work. It actually accelerates the process of discovery by leaving you open to the kinds of knowledge that can only come through bodily experience, through feeling and sensation, through intuition and imagination. Repose has a number of other benefits as well. Lying in repose for 7 minutes, that's the magic number, 7 minutes, can reduce your stress, elevate your mood, and enhance your memory and attention. Research participants who try Repose for 30 days report higher levels of optimism, positivity, resilience, and happiness. They also report improvements in self-image, social interactions, and perhaps most importantly of all, overall physical health. Given that Repose costs nothing to do, takes very little time, and has such dramatic benefits, making it a part of your daily life seems like a no-brainer. I promise that those of you who do will celebrate that decision for years to come, as I do. Now you have a pair of tools at your disposal that will give you access to the experience of inspiration and the profound realizations and breakthroughs that can come out of that experience. To reap the benefits of inspiration, just remember, immerse yourself in play in order to empty your mind and attain mental silence. Then fill that silence with pure bodily sensation by lying in repose. Take a few minutes every day for play and repose, and you will start to cultivate the ability to get inspired, stay inspired, and share your inspiration with others. Creative inspiration is an art that engages your whole body, head to toe. You can master that art regardless of how creative you consider yourself to be. You see, this moment, here and now, is your canvas, and you're the artist. When you are immersed in inspiration, you fill that canvas with the sensations of bliss, ecstasy, and delight that you feel in your body. My experience with inspiration has taught me that nothing in the world is more contagious than inspiration. Even the briefest flash of it can be so compelling that it touches people's hearts. It opens their minds, it uplifts their spirits. You have the power to set off a chain reaction by which your inspiration spreads to an ever-widening circle of influence. When you apply the tools that I've spent 3 decades developing, today you've heard about just 2 of them. You can inspire yourself, and in so doing, you could end up inspiring the world. Thank you.